Welcome, everybody, and thank you for attending our first ever AppXcelerate 2025 application workshop. Um, my name is Lindsay. I am one of the members of the Inclusive App Accelerator team that'll be providing a lot of support, questions, answers throughout the application process, but also we'll be working with awardees in a project management capacity when the program starts this coming spring. So go to next slide. Just a little overview of the purpose of today's workshop is we're going to just go over the purpose and process of the IAA program. We're going to go over the application timeline and some components of the contents. And then we're going to leave some time at the end for Q&A in case anybody has some questions. So just a little disclaimer, the Inclusive App Accelerator program is funded by a grant through the National Institute on Disability, Independent Living, and Rehabilitation Research. Next slide. And this is a very collaborative effort with a great team of partners from here at the University of Pittsburgh, our fellow center Impact that helps support technology translation, along with a great team of technical partners at ArcTouch, Alliant, FlutterFlow, and Fable, and then some really great community partners with the Perkins School for the Blind, United Spinal Association, World Institute on Disability, and the Consumer Technology Association Foundation. So the purpose of our Inclusive App Accelerator is to serve as a hub for inclusive app development and innovation that provides funding and support for the creation of Android and iOS apps to enhance independence, participation, and autonomy of persons with disabilities. So each year, as part of this initiative, we will be supporting 4 awardees to develop and distribute their mobile apps. So kind of expanding on that a little bit, while there'll be 4 per year, this program will run for 5 years with our overarching goal to be to develop and distribute 20 mobile apps over that 5-year period. And our secondary goal is to promote and expand the use of low-code, no-code platforms for mobile app development and improve the accessibility within these. Our approach for trying to explore the use of the low-code, no-code platforms is they're rapidly expanding in their adoption, and they have a lot of opportunities to help support sustainability and the innovators' involvement in the technical development or maintenance processes throughout their app's longevity. Next slide. So primary purpose is to develop these mobile apps for smartphones, and they're aimed to improve either health and function, community living and participation, or employment of persons with disabilities. With that being said, the focus of the apps should be designed for direct use amongst individuals with disabilities, not solely for use among caregivers or service providers to support persons with disabilities. So we're committed to using a development process that prioritizes a user-centered accessibility-first approach to ensure that we're involving those end users with disabilities in the app development to support iterative improvement and adaptation of the apps to ensure that it meets the end user's needs, and to help ensure that the apps are able to be adaptable as the technological landscape continues to change in the future. So what might this development process look like if you're accepted into the IAA Accelerator? I probably should have prefaced this before. Inclusive App Accelerator. So I'll probably refer to it as IAA, as I probably have a couple times already and throughout the rest of this, just for efficiency's sake. So our selected awardees will receive coaching and support from our app development team to handle the technical aspects of development, and support from our business support team to assist with the commercialization and sustainability of their innovation. The awardees will also collaborate directly with their target end users with disabilities to ensure that the innovations created are truly user-centered to best meet their needs. Awardees will have 1 year from their app development start date to the official launch of their app, and it'll progress through 3 stages that I'll dive into a little bit more in the following slides. But this 1 year timeline, just to clarify, while there is a start date listed on our timeline for the awardees like notice and start of their time in the program, their app development start time, depending on if there's a little bit more like background discovery needed or so forth, it'll really start from like the time that like the app starts to be built or whatnot, just because we might need to stagger some of this for efficiency throughout the process. And throughout all of the phases, we really focus on ongoing collaboration amongst our awardees and both of our IAA teams and those end users to ensure that we're supporting them to develop these user-centered approaches and both best collaborate with their target users and incorporate their feedback and experiences into the product. So these 3 stages that I mentioned include defining what we call our most either viable product, or also our partners at ArcTouch and ourselves like the term most lovable project as well. So we really want to make sure that this is something that the end user not only is using because they need to, but because they enjoy to help support that long-term engagement. So we'll support the awardee, both of our teams, in defining what that most viable or lovable product is going to be, with a focus on incorporating that end user's feedback based on different discovery or Q&A analysis that will help you guide you guys through doing with them. And this will also help in development of like mock-up designs and really finalizing what are the features that we need, we like, and how are we sustainably able to incorporate those into the product, but ensure that there's infrastructure to maintain the longevity of them throughout the lifespan of your innovation. And then resulting in an initial plan for your functional prototype. In stage 2, we'll dive into building, testing, and refining the most viable or lovable product. And in this, the app development team will work with the awardee on conducting usability testing with this prototype. They will also coordinate comprehensive accessibility testing completed by partners at Fable and Alliant, which incorporates testing with persons with disabilities in that process as well, on top of the usability testing that will help coach you guys through doing with the end users. And then this being our goal to build and ensure that the app is meeting the end user's needs and is accessible and user-friendly. And then last but not least, the launch and the marketing. And through this, the app will be launched in both the Apple and Google App Stores. The awardee will collaborate with our business support team in developing and implementing a marketing plan focused on engaging with their end users with disabilities, and then identifying and leveraging different app utilization metrics to understand what is and isn't working, and to help adapt the business plans to drive widespread adoption. The business plan development, while it is most discussed here in stage 3, it honestly is ongoing throughout all 3 stages of the process from the beginning. Really just trying to help ensure that our awardees products have components on them that make sure that these really great features or whatnot are able to be sustained long term. And if not, how can we maybe work towards incorporating those things? So we're here to coach and support throughout the whole experience. Next slide. So all of this is also on our website and in the application download packet. But I'll go through some of the key components of what we expect from the awardees if they are accepted and agree to participate in the accelerator. So we have an impact course. That's an online course through the Coursera platform that helps educate on a lot of the foundational skills of technology translation, from innovation to launching to sustaining a product. So we'll ask our awardees to take that course because it'll help provide a lot of foundational background knowledge if they don't already have, or be a great refresher, just to get us all thinking on the same page. We'll also support them in gathering and analyzing what the user's needs are in regards to using their product to accomplish its end goal. So we can incorporate that in defining the finalized product or revising it, conducting user testing to ensure that it's functional, usable, and accessible amongst those end users, developing and refining the business plan to help ensure the app's long-term feasibility and sustainability, development and implementation of the marketing plan to increase awareness, adoption, and engagement, monitoring the utilization of it to help ensure continued use of it and adaptations as needed. And this will include reporting utilization metrics that are agreed upon between the awardee and the business team at least twice a year through 2029. And then acknowledging that this was developed in support with a funding opportunity from our funding partner, the National Institute on Disability and Rehabilitation Research, and creating and managing App Store accounts for the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. And as you'll see throughout these next two slides, when I summarize some of the business team and development team's responsibilities, they're very similar to a lot of those responsibilities that we expect of the awardees, but our roles is to be here to support you guys, coach you guys, be a resource in developing the knowledge, skills, or resources to complete all of those tasks. So helping to serve as a project manager to ensure smooth collaboration amongst all of our teams. Helping assist the awardee in defining their minimum viable or lovable product, and conducting that end user testing and discovery, providing guidance on relevant resources that might help the awardee in developing their business plan, conducting user testing, through resources or one-on-one consultations. And this includes the development and refinement of the business plan, providing support on that user testing and interpreting those results to develop a plan for the app's initial development, maybe future iterations or advancements. Assist the awardee in developing and implementing marketing strategies, and collaborating on that development and implementation of the adoption plan, to monitor metrics, to assess the impact of the app long-term. And the development team's responsibilities will again provide some coaching and feedback in the defining of the minimum viable product. They have user experience and user interface expertise that they'll provide in the development of the app, collaborating in the actual technical build and development of the app with the IAA awardee, coordinating the usability and accessibility testing that's conducted by our partners at Fable and Alliant. And then again, any coaching, some supplemental coaching on user testing that the awardee may be completing to help identify and or identify usability problems and or solutions that could be implemented for those. And then providing basic app maintenance for the first year following the app's initial launch. And then awardees also have the option to enter separate contracts with ArcTouch for further support and or development beyond what's initially provided here as part of the IAA experience if they choose to. So our eligible applicants are going to be US-based organizations and or individuals with an innovative idea for a mobile app to support participation amongst persons with disabilities. This can be nonprofits or academic institutions, industry professionals, companies, persons with disabilities, family members, providers such as clinicians, and more. Coding experience is not required for mobile app development due to our great partners on the um, app development team. And then the app does, as mentioned previously, need to be intended for direct use amongst individuals with disabilities to support their health and function, community living and or participation and employment, and not intended for sole use amongst providers or caregivers to support persons with disabilities. The awardee must be willing to collaborate with our IAA development team for the build of the app utilizing the low-code, no-code platforms, and or fulfill the awardee responsibilities that we previously mentioned. So while throughout the past slides, you saw there's a lot of in-kind services and or supports provided both from our app development team and our business support team. Additionally, applicants can request up to $10,000 to cover time or effort, development tasks, gathering user feedback, conducting user testing at various stages, or marketing expenses or ongoing app costs. If the app concept involves connecting to other systems and services that would expand costs beyond what is able to be provided within the IAA Accelerator, awardees will need to ensure other funding sources to help fulfill that need. And then the costs for app development, accessibility testing, and 1 year basic maintenance are covered as part of the in-kind services provided to the IAA awardees and do not need to be included in any budget. So our timeline, our round one application has officially launched here on December, the first week in December, and then will be due by January 31st. We'll notify applicants from round one if they advance to our round two by February 15th. And then our round two application deadline will be March 8th. March 8th. Michelle, do you mind double checking that date with me? For some reason, it's not feeling right, and I'm wondering if that might have been a typo.
I will check that while you proceed. Yep.
Thank you. Sorry for the stutter, guys. I was like, so just to make sure.
I think it's right.
Well, award it is.
It's 3 weeks away.
Okay. We'll notify awardees on April 1st, and then we anticipate the program to hopefully start by May 1st. So for this round one application, our primary goal is to screen and evaluate how well the applicants understand the problem that they're trying to address with their app innovation or solution, and the potential impacts of those innovative ideas. Successful applicants from round one will be invited to will be invited to participate in a round two application cycle that will include submitting a full application with some additional criteria. So there's 5 main components as part of our round one applications. The first being to understand the problem that you're working to solve with your app and the anticipated impact of that app for the end users with disabilities. So what is the unmet need amongst the market for this solution, and how is your innovation hopefully going to significantly benefit that target audience? While these components are listed on like the main application information page of our website, the scoring criteria that you'll see here on the slides, if you didn't notice it initially on the website, it's included in a downloadable full application instructions and review criteria document that is linked on our website. So this 1 through 5 scale is what our review team will be utilizing to assess how well the response is provided, how comprehensively they're thinking through addressing that problem and the impact. Next slide. For round 2, we're wanting to see any involvement of the stakeholders and target audience in the development of this innovative idea thus far. So being able to clearly articulate who those target end users with disabilities are and how they're affected by the problem, and any insights or feedback that's already been gathered or any involvement that they've already contributed to the development of this solution. If they have not yet been involved in the process, we'll also want to know how you would intend for them to be involved moving forward, and or how you would continue to involve them if you have already done so. The proposed solution and innovation, while it's clearly described, how well it's clearly described that it identifies the problem and what makes it innovative or beneficial in comparison to existing solutions on the market. And then some information about your project team and their background, the relevant skills or experience your team members have, any resources to help benefit the capacity to implement the project, and any past experiences and or successes that demonstrate your ability to execute development and implementation of an app innovation. And last but not least, we'll ask you to identify what development stage your proposed app innovation idea is currently at. Concept or discovery being that the idea is all there and you're thinking through it and stuff, but there's no product. An initial prototype would be if you've actually started any processes and or have a prototype, and then existing app improvement and or scaling redevelopment or design. And then there is another category in case you're not sure which of these areas it fits in between. You can select that or specify. Also, there's the opportunity that you can reach out and set up a one-on-one consultation with our team if you have any additional questions amongst any of these review criteria areas that we've introduced thus far and or the ones that are included in the round 2 application. So the round 2 applications will once again allow you to, it'll include those first 4 sections. We'll provide the scoring. So if there is any, by doing that, we'll encourage the teams to revise or expand upon their responses in round 1 if they didn't achieve a full 5 points there. Before submitting the round 2 application, and then there'll be 5 additional sections included in that second round application. The additional sections include competition and market differentiation. So providing more information about who are the direct or indirect competitors that have products currently on the market and what makes your innovation unique in comparison to them. Any strengths or weaknesses that you've been able to analyze, and how well the market space or size is to support growth and continued use of your app within it. Feasibility of implementation. So based on what current stage the app is at, how feasible would it be and what you're hoping to incorporate within it, how feasible may that be from a technical, operational, and financial perspective? Any insight to challenges you anticipate in bringing your app to the market and or sustaining its presence there, or any additional reviews or approvals that might be needed. Sustainability in the business model. So if a business model for how the app would be sustained has been identified regarding who will pay for it to help keep it on the market and usable for as long as possible, and how those costs plan to be covered, any revenue streams that the app may generate and or just will help to sustain it long term. Intellectual property, so identifying if there is any intellectual property within the innovation and any existing efforts that have been taken to protect or secure it and or are planned or in process of being taken. Support and resources. So the level of support that's needed to develop and launch the app, what resources are already available to you. This can include additional funding that you already have to go towards the development of this app, additional personnel, tools, and what you might need. And last but not least, there's a section for the budget template for any additional funds being requested up to that $10,000 amount, just breaking down what those would be used for generally. And then if there's any references that you have to help support the justifications provided at any of the sections, those can be attached at this point as well. So last but not least, before we jump into our Q&A section, we wanted to point out some resources that we have provided on our website in the resource section to support development of applications. The impact course that I mentioned previously will be required for any awardees to be completed is also a free course that's available that anybody can complete at any time. So the link to that is currently on our website. This is a really, really great tool for anybody developing a product intended to be used amongst persons with disabilities to be competing in this assistive technology market space. The technology translation readiness assessment tool that was also developed by our partners at the Impact Center. So this allows individuals to self-assess different aspects of their app concept development to see how ready it is or pinpoint areas needing improvement before moving forward to bring it to reality. And then some great tools in regards to assessing other products that might be available competition-wise on the market and how your app might be able to differentiate amongst them. So the Disability Tech Market Analysis Report and data visualizations are have been produced by our partners at the Howe Innovation Center at the Perkins School for the Blind. So they've been mapping out just different assistive technology products that are currently on the market, the target audiences that they use, their purposes or whatnot. So you can see, is there already, and this is something that's started a little over a year ago, I believe, and it's continually being added to and expanded. So it's not entirely comprehensive, but it's a really, really great disability tech focused starting point to see if there's already a lot of other products that might be out there to serve a specific purpose, like flashcards for persons with visual impairments or something along those lines. The Bridging Apps database is a really great initiative put on by the Houston Easter Seals. They have a team of people that help to review different apps and categorize them based on how they may or may not help to support different functional needs, different disability audiences, and a wide range of other factors. And then the Mind Apps database is another tool that helps to, it's very similar to Bridging Apps, except for it's entirely focused on mental health apps. So categorizing different apps, how they might help different mental health needs. And then we offer one-on-one consultations available upon request. And as we continue to get questions from applicants, we'll add questions and answers to the FAQ section of our website.